What's going on, everybody? This is Robo from All Bark, and this is my 2023 NBA Draft Top 30 Big Board. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying this is my personal top 30, so every opinion is my own. So you may see some guys higher or lower than usual, but just based off of my opinion on each player, this is how I'm going to go ahead and rank them. So let's get started with some honorable mentions. So Mouhamed Gueye is a former high school reclassifier, so he's still young despite playing 2 years in college so far. He's a tall, fluid power forward prospect who can handle the ball pretty well for his size, and he could develop into a solid floor spacer with an improving jumper. His best asset right now is that he's a great offensive rebounder. Sidy Cissoko is a 6'7", 225, big, strong guard, wing hybrid prospect who plays with high energy. He's a solid off-ball defender and a strong athlete. He's not a very developed shooter to this point, but he can score at the rim well and is a solid playmaker, so he does contribute on the offensive end. Andre Jackson is a 6'6" shooting guard, great athlete, lockdown defender who just blows up the stat sheet. He can play make offensively as well as score at the rim. He's not an outside threat much, but he can hit when he's left open. He was a very big part of UConn's championship run, playing well on both ends of the floor. Kobe Brown is an older prospect, 6'8" power forward, but he's improved much as a shooter over the years. He has the size to be an impact forward at the next level. I'm thinking along the lines of a Jeff Green, of just a very strong player with a long wingspan to help him rebound. Jordan Walsh is a solid defensive prospect with great size, strength, and length. He's got a 7'3" wingspan and a huge part of Arkansas's mini tournament run. He's the type of defender who takes charges, hustles for loose balls, and fights through contact. He's a very high IQ player on the offensive end. Bilal Coulibaly is a defensive wing prospect who's very raw offensively. I'm a bit lower on him because I haven't seen much, but some others have him near the lottery. He does have solid size and great length, but he's not a great shot creator right now, and he turns the ball over pretty often. But he is only 18 years old still, so there's still a lot of room for growth. Amari Bailey is someone I'm higher on than others. He's a former 5-star prospect. He's a great two-way athlete who's shown playmaking flashes, but is primarily a scorer. He's a solid ball handler and shot creator and can score from all three levels. He's best at getting to the rim in transition and scoring in the mid-range. Rayan Rupert is a great defensive prospect thanks to his enormous 7'3" wingspan. He's not too developed offensively yet, but he has shown some flashes. For someone who's rumored to have some lottery buzz, I believe he needs a bigger bag offensively. My comparison for him is like a Thabo Sefolosha. His ceiling is Mikal Bridges if he figures it out offensively. Terquavion Smith is a skinny, quick point guard. He's an extreme athlete who uses it to his advantage when he's attacking downhill. He's an explosive dunker as well as an elite outside threat, but he does take a lot of bad shots, which hurt his percentages pretty much across the board. Marcus Sasser is my personal favorite non-lottery guard in this class. He's a 3-level scorer and a solid athlete. He can initiate his own offense and plays with a lot of heart and high energy. He is a bit undersized and not much of a playmaker, but he's an absolute bucket. He can be a big-time bench scorer for any team in the NBA, and he was the clear leader for one of the best teams in the country at Houston. Kris Murray is very similar to his brother Keegan, but he's left-handed. He's an older prospect and he's not quite as good on ball as Keegan was, but he still brings a strong jumper and some defensive upside. He does have a decent post game and he scores around the rim well, and overall is just a great rebounder. Noah Clowney is a 6'10" versatile big who can space the floor pretty well and score and control in the post. He's got a long wingspan that helps him sky for rebounds, and he hits the corner three at a high level. He's only 18 still, so he has a lot of growth to his game coming, but he's already a solid stretch 4. G.G. Jackson is a former projected top 10 pick. He's a high potential forward with a lot of guard skill. He is a solid shot creator and has a decent jumper, but overall just a very raw prospect, and he's going to need some development. If things go to plan, he can be a scary all-around player. Maxwell Lewis is a great scorer and shooter at 6'7". He's a good ball handler and a solid hustle defender. He has the size and versatility to fit at shooting guard or small forward in the NBA. He can make an impact pretty much right away. He's often compared to Devin Vassell. I do like that comparison. I think he can impact a team offensively and defensively immediately. Leonard Miller is a taller wing at 6'10". He has the size of a power forward, but he plays in the wing due to his slimmer frame and his guard skill. He's got a lot of raw talent, and he smartly chose to pull out of the 2022 draft to improve his game in the G League. He has a solid handle and mid-range pull-up, but not much of a three-ball. Dereck Lively is an elite rim protector. He may be the best in this class at that, but he is also an offensive project. He's a great finisher at the rim, but doesn't have much of a post game yet, so he relies on his athleticism to allow him to score. He's going to need to develop an offensive bag in order to make an impact at the next level. Jalen Hood-Schifino is a strong mid-range playmaker at 6'6". He has the range to shoot well from three, and he does so, but he excels scoring from the mid-level and playmaking out of shots. He's great in the pick and roll as a ball handler, and he projects to be a solid two-way guard at the next level. He can be a guy who can score for you whenever he needs to, or just be a solid off-ball option. Jett is a straight-up shooter. He's got a strong bag with a handle, which helps him be a pure offensive weapon. He takes shots with confidence anywhere on the floor. It doesn't matter who's in front of him. He can be a strong movement three-point shooter. He's not very good defensively at this point, got picked on a lot in college, but he does have the size and athleticism to be able to develop there a little bit. So overall, I think he's a great offensive option right now, but it's going to take a lot of work for him to be able to make an impact on the defensive side of the ball. Dariq Whitehead is a former projected top 10 pick. He's a plus athlete, but does have some injury concern. He's a great on-ball scorer and shot creator, and a very good jump shooter. He's an active defender and uses his longer arms to his advantage. He's an improving ball handler and could end up being a lottery pick based on how his workouts go because of where he was projected about a year ago. Jordan Hawkins is just an elite off-ball shooter. He's an overall just a great offensive weapon. He's got very clean shooting mechanics, a pure jumper form, and has incredible cardio and uses that to his advantage to get open looks constantly. He's also a solid defender. Not a plus defender at all, but he does not get bullied. He's going to be an immediate impact shooting guard because of his ability to shoot the ball off the dribble and the catch and shoot. Kobe Bufkin is a 6'4" guard, biggest riser of the class. I couldn't see the floor much as a freshman and then became Michigan's biggest weapon offensively. He's a strong two-way guard. He can do anything offensively, both on and off the ball with a solid handle. He's scored often on his own creations this season and absolutely carried Michigan's offense at times as both a scorer and a playmaker. He's able to explode to the rim when he needs to and shoot over any defender from any place on the floor. Had a couple game winners for Michigan this past season and overall was by far their best offensive player. Nick Smith Jr. is a former top 5 prospect. He did have an injury that held him out for most of the season. He's a lanky scoring guard and a solid but inconsistent shooter. He's a fluid athlete who scores anytime he's near the rim and has a great floater game and a solid mid-range game as well and has solid bounce. Brice Sensabaugh is a pure bucket. I saw a tweet the other day calling him a high BMI Devin Booker, which was actually pretty accurate. He's a 3-level scorer. He reminds me a lot of TJ Warren. He's got a solid handle. He can shoot the ball from anywhere and just has an elite pull-up game. Overall, one of the better offensive prospects in this class. Gradey Dick is an offensive juggernaut at 6'7". He's not a great defender, but isn't poor at all. He plays with high effort and energy, which allows him to make a lot of big-time plays in key moments. Offensively, he's a sharpshooter who also creates off the dribble and sees the floor pretty well to play make for his teammates and was a big part of Kansas' season this past year. Keyonte George is a more polished Jaden Hardy in my opinion, who I, as a lot of others would agree, thought should have gone much higher than he did last year. But Keyonte is a 3-level scorer with solid athleticism. He can create his own offense and get buckets whenever you need. Offense just comes absolutely naturally to him. He can score pretty much in any fashion and handle the ball extremely well. Cason Wallace is probably the best defensive guard prospect in this class. He's 6'4" and often compared to Jrue Holiday due to his defense, size, hustle, and catch and shoot ability. He does have a bit of a pull-up game and said so himself that he wants to improve on that area. He's pretty strong in transition and can make plays late in the shot clock. He was a big part of Kentucky's offense and defense this season, carrying the load on both ends, and could be a high impact player right away and could see himself go into the top 10. Anthony Black is a 6'7" big facilitating guard. He's a very solid defender, but does need to improve his scoring ability. He does control the game at his own pace though offensively. He has some similarities to Cade Cunningham, but Cade was just a much better shooter at this stage and just a better overall player, which is why he went number 1 in his draft. But in terms of playmaking and size, the comparison is there for Anthony Black. I could see him going as high as 6, but I think the Wizards are a great fit for him around pick 8. Taylor Hendricks is a 6'9" power forward, just a tall, lanky 3-and-D prospect, but he's much more than that. He's an athletic freak who can score in many ways, but he needs to improve his handle. He has extreme upside as a defender and can help teams win now on both ends of the floor. He could end up being one of the better players from this class due to his ability to block shots at a high level and shoot the ball well, and just overall space the floor while being a defensive upside player. Ausar Thompson is pretty similar to his brother Amen, who will be seen higher on this list, but Ausar is the better shooter between the two. He's not quite the same athlete or facilitator as Amen, but he is an elite ball handler who can beat guys off the dribble with ease and create space for himself whenever. He's able to score at the rim extremely well and finish through contact. OTE was definitely not the place for him to have high competition, but he dominated the league so well that it's a big reason why he's projected as a top 6 pick. Cam Whitmore is a top-tier athlete, a 6'6" small forward with a super high vertical, and overall just a great scorer. He's going to be an off-ball wing with some solid defensive upside. The Miles Bridges comparison makes a lot of sense as he can shoot off the catch and off the dribble, but he uses athleticism to score both in transition and in the half court. He has a little bit more defense at this point than Miles Bridges did out of college, but Whitmore is only 18 years old. He'll turn 19 a little bit after the draft. Jarace Walker is a 6'8" power forward, 250 pounds. He's the best defender in the class in my opinion, with a solid jumper. He's a top-tier athlete and has some creation ability, but he's best suited for an off-ball offensive role. He plays with high intensity and can play make from pretty much anywhere. He runs in transition and has shown NBA range and could end up being a top 5 pick in this NBA draft. Amen Thompson is a 6'7" guard. He's an elite shot creator, facilitator, and defender. He's not much of a jump shooter right now, but he does have some mid-range flashes here and there. He could have the highest ceiling in the class outside of the top 2, as his athleticism, playmaking, and court vision are second to none. He's a better prospect than his brother in my opinion, however both are in the top 6 or 7 of most mocks. Athletically, he's just an absolute freak. Brandon Miller is coming in at number 3 on my list. He's a 6'9" forward, plays on both ends of the floor. He's an elite scorer and playmaker. He compares himself to Paul George. He's not nearly the same ball handler as Paul was, but he does have similar scoring qualities. He's going to need to add some more strength to his frame, but he can go at guys one-on-one or pull up from pretty much anywhere on the floor. His career high of 41 was just an absolutely absurd game he had against South Carolina, and a big reason why he's going to be a top 5 pick in this NBA draft. Number 2 is obviously Scoot Henderson. He's often compared to Russell Westbrook with a better jumper. He's an elite offensive prospect overall. Shot selection caused his lower percentages this season, and that could be a concern, but he has shown both the pull-up and catch-and-shoot ability. He'll improve as an off-ball defender, but he's often called a generational prospect for a reason. Not many guards are able to shoot the ball well while being as athletic and fluid as him towards the rim, and he's going to be a solid option defensively eventually. Number 1 was obvious. It's Victor Wembanyama. 7'5", 225 pounds. That's just an absolute freak of nature alien. There's not much more to say with him. He does pretty much everything you can ask of on the offensive end. He's an excellent ball handler for his size. He can shoot the ball from anywhere on the floor, and it's not even worth attempting to drive on him inside, as your shot's just going to end up in the 5th row. As long as he can add size and stay healthy, I think he can be an absolute force in this league, and as many have said, a potential GOAT of the NBA. So that's going to wrap it up for my top 30 NBA Draft Big Board. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and stay tuned to our channel for more videos in the future. Peace.